Welcome into the ArtGibbs Sports Business Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've all heard about these large TV deals in college football. We've heard about the large NIL deals that the players have gotten. And of course, recently we've heard about the large coaching contracts, namely Kirby Smart's $102 million deal that puts him at over $10 million a year in total incentives. He's up over 11 million, actually 11.5 million, 11.25 million in his deal. But what do these contracts actually look like? We see the highlights, and those highlights are largely outlined in a memorandum of understanding. And we've got the memorandum of understanding from 2016 when he originally went to Georgia. So we're going to look at what that looks like. Again, we know his current contract, larger, but what are some of the key components? And again, this memorandum of understanding functions basically as a term sheet. These are the main points, and then they'll be fleshed out in the contract. We also have that contract as well from 2016. But in this episode, we're going to focus on the memorandum of understanding, and we're going to see what it looks like and how these coaches are paid. So let's dive into that memorandum of understanding now. So the first thing you'll notice, and anybody who's done a salary search on, say, a public university like Alabama, Georgia, University of Memphis, any of those kinds of schools, you're going to see that the football coach, makes something like $400,000 a year or $300,000 a quarter, or some number like that. But it's going to be maybe 10, 20%, or even less of the sort of headline number that you see on what they're being paid. So it's not all money coming directly from the university. So where is the money coming from? It's coming from effectively what is a booster collective, and it is effectively NIL for the coach. So this booster collective is going to pay the majority of the fee to the coach. It's going to keep them competitive, able to pay a large amount. And that coach then has to do X number of appearances. They have to, give their name, image, and likeness up, et cetera, et cetera. So now let's go look at the original case, 2016, when Kirby Smart went to Georgia. So Georgia paid Kirby Smart in this memorandum of understanding from 2016, $400,000 a year. At least $400,000 a year is what they were to pay him. So that's what the University of Georgia paid Kirby Smart. Now, where did the rest come from? The rest came from the University of Georgia Athletic Association, Inc. Now, what this does is this allows sort of these additional benefits beyond what normal full employees of the University of Georgia would receive. So, term and base salary, part one. The coach shall be paid at least $400,000, and again, this is a contract that, as we know, went from 2016 through December 2021. So, coach would be paid $400,000 base salary and shall receive insurance and retirement benefits provided by the university that other university employees would receive as well. That will be paid in approximately equal monthly installments. Supplemental income. Now, this is the key. That this is this sort of NIL collective. The association will pay the coach $3.35 million per year in quarterly installments. Payment in March, June, September, and December. This will be attributable to the association's shoe and clothing endorsement, as well as compensation for radio, TV shows, programs, interviews, and other appearances and endorsements. Coach shall comply with this, make no less than 12 appearances per year, etc., etc. Now that sounds a lot like NIL. Coach shall receive $3,600 a year in shoes and clothes. He may not make other endorsements or appearances without written consent from the athletic director. Performance bonuses are an additional $1.6 million. We'll show that later in this episode of how that's broken out. Vehicle stipend, $1,800 per month, and direct lease payment for 2 vehicles for the coach. $5,000 annual insurance. And again, this is all coming from the association. The association pays for the car lease, pays for the insurance, pays the 3.35 supplemental income, and pays the performance bonuses, which can get up to $1.6 million for a national championship like they had last year. Okay, so termination by the coach. So if the coach leaves early, so if he leaves in the calendar year of 2016, he's got to pay back $3.75 million. If he leaves in the next year, $3 million. Next year, $2.5 million. Next year, $2 million, and so on down to 1.5. Down to 1.5 in that last calendar year. And there's a stipulation that if the coach left for, quote, good reason, then he would not have to pay that money back. And what is considered a good reason would be negotiated in good faith once this memorandum of understanding was signed. Now, termination without cause, that's what you always hear about. If there's no NCAA violation, no issues, and they want to get rid of the coach and move on and have a new coach, what does it cost them? So the numbers start a lot higher than $3.75 million. They start at 13.5 if they were to terminate him in 2016, 10.8 in 2017, 7 in 2018, 4.7 in 2019, and 2.3 in 2020, and then 62% of remaining salary. Now, of course, and this is an interesting thing, that money is not paid in a lump sum. It's paid in monthly installments through to the end of the contract, through that end of 2021. And additionally, any other job that the coach may get in the SEC, that would offset that payment. Okay, coach shall not receive any other benefit or income from any source without written consent. And it says approval shall not generally be given for these separate endorsement and speaking engagements. It's listed very directly. Point 8, coach shall give the university and the association and the university an exclusive license to use name, image, likeness, and other personal characteristics to promote the football team, radio, TV shows, apparel, shoe contracts, and other endorsements. So it is literally name, image, and likeness beyond that salary. And then any dispute with the coach and the association shall be settled in binding arbitration, i.e. they're waiving their right to basically a jury trial. And then additional things to be related to be set forth in the contract. So it's interesting. Basically, the main difference or the main situation is that the coaches are paid some from the university and a lot from these outside collectives, just like the NIL is doing now. And most likely, even if college athletes eventually become employees, they'll have a base salary, and then they'll have these outside NIL type deals. All right, that's all for today. Thank you, and have a great day.